So yeah, perfect tonight. You get to see what's been going on in the AE world and in my world for probably the last year, I guess. This is the first time that I have be showing any of this to any audience anywhere in the world. This is a world first. What we're going to cover tonight in the next sort of 45 minutes to an hour, and then the Q&A, is how I believe that Generation X is going to play a major role in the aesthetics market in the next 10 years. What I think the future direction is going to be, which is essentially personalization. And I know that's not going to come as a massive surprise to many of you, but hopefully I can share some, maybe a bit of different insight from a different perspective that will help inform you, but also maybe open your eyes to opportunities that you might not have considered before. And one of those is around obviously personalized aesthetics and personalized healthcare. So let me just quickly share my slides with you. Cool, right, you should all be able to see that. Thumbs up if you can, that'd be awesome. Good, awesome, right, look at that. I have not a single technological balls up so far. However, there is still plenty of time. Okay, so what we're going to cover off tonight is I'm going to talk to you a bit about Generation X, and obviously explain to you why I think they're going to play such a major role in this, as the aesthetics market evolves and develops over the next few years. Any questions that you've got, any observations, anything you agree with, anything you disagree with, please pop it in the chat. I'd love this to be engaging. I'd love this to be two-way traffic, and obviously I'll read the questions, read the comments as we go through. And it makes it more fun for anybody. I'm joined tonight by the amazing Miriam Martinez Callejas, Superintendent Pharmacist at Roseway Labs. Some of those of you who know Miriam, you'll know that she is one of the smartest people I have in the world, so the smartest people I've ever met. And we'll be hearing from her later on in the session, so she can introduce herself. But if you've not come across her, she's a real trusted voice in the world of personalized healthcare and compounding medications. And she works alongside Elizabeth Philp, and between them, they set up Roseway Labs. They founded Roseway Labs in 2018 with the goal of bringing tailored and personalized healthcare to a wider audience. And if you don't know me, you should do by now. I'm Richard Crawford Small, founder of Aesthetic Entrepreneurs. There we go, here's my first technical balls up. Founder of Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, author, speaker. I set up AE in 2018. It's actually as old as Roseway, to basically help you guys achieve your goals, develop your business, save time, make money, have fun. I'm the author of Changing Faces. Who's read Changing Faces? If you just put yes in the chat, that would be awesome. And if you haven't and you want to, put I want to in the chat, and I'll make sure you get a link so you can read the digital version of it. And in the last sort of 20 years in this market, I've had the real privilege of working with some of the most dynamic global brands in the aesthetics market. And also I've had the honor of working with a lot of you watching as well. So let's get into this. So who are Generation X? Well, I immersed myself in multi-generational marketing towards the end of last year. And how I kind of think about my position in this market and what I do is kind of like being on the bridge of a ship and looking out for opportunities, looking out for risks, looking at trends, looking at how things develop. So I can kind of internalize it, I analyze it, and then give you guys insight that will help you drive your businesses. And when I started looking at multi-generational marketing, and I'll walk you through what this is, essentially goes from what we call here is this 7% here is essentially a mix between what's the silent generation and the greatest generation. So essentially, these are people who were born before 1945. Then you've got the boomers, we're going down. Then you've got the boomers who were born between sort of 1946 and 1964. I'll jump over here. Then you got the legends, Generation X, me, us lot, born between 65 and 79. And it's give or take a few years. You've got the millennials, our noisy, annoying siblings, and they were born between 1980 and 1994. And then we've got Gen Alpha, which essentially is where some of my kids sit, and they're the ones that spend all of our money. They were born between 95 and 2012. Sorry, Gen Z, sorry. And then you've got Gen Alpha, which is 2013 to 2025. Now, conveniently, this all splits up into a nice, easy 20%, right? So the very young and the very old generally make about 20%. Gen Z make about 20%. Millennials about 20%, and Gen X and Boomers 20% each. Now, when you look at that in terms of numbers, when I looked at it in more detail, you could see that basically there are about 7.1 million women in Generation X. And that's what got me thinking is like, okay, well, I don't think we communicate to Generation X particularly well as a market. When I got into this market in 2004, obviously we were looking at the boomers, and that was the time of very much the whole kind of 10 years younger approach to the market. It was all about line chasing. It was Botox and fillers, which kind of drove the market. And the marketing was very much driven to a boomer mindset. And I don't think we've really evolved a great deal from that. But Generation X are a very, very different mindset and a very, very different type of messaging. And let me show you what I mean. So this is fresh off the press, right? This is my brand new, amazing ice bath, right? So unfortunately, I've recently become quite aware of my mortality. My dad died over the summer. He was only 68, and the heart condition that he died from actually also killed my grandfather. So I'm at high risk for this. So I'm now all over this. I'm all over getting in shape, right? I'm just focusing it. And obviously, like a lot of Gen Xers, you know, my age group at 49, 50, you're aware of your mortality, so you start trying to look after yourself a bit better. So I bought an ice bath, right? Like you do. I did my research, checked the reviews. This is the one I bought off Amazon for 80 quid, seemed good enough. Now, for those of you, the sharp-minded amongst you will notice that the inflatable ring around the top is not inflated. And that's because it popped. So I sent it back. I bought another one, exactly the same problem. So now I'm like, shit, I don't have an ice bath. So social media and marketing doing its trick is all of a sudden through an email comes this. Boom. Now, Lumi, if you don't know, Lumi are essentially this kind of the global leaders in ice bath technology, if you want to call them that. And their ice baths are 150 quid. So it's, you know, a lot more than the amount I paid for mine. But I love this. Look at this. You know, fuck Black Friday. We choose when the sale begins, and it begins now. Did I buy one? Absolutely, I did. What did I get? What was my deal? 20 quid. That was it. But the reason I bought it is it made me laugh because it hit my personality type. You know, don't tell me what to do. It really hit me exactly where I like to be talked to, how I want to be talked at. Any other messaging, it tends to bounce off. This was really great. And this is bang on the kind of Gen X humor and irreverence that we really love and enjoy. So I'll play a little game with you, right? So let's see how Gen X we are. How many of these albums did you own? So you should be able to recognize the covers, but for those of you who don't, I will read the covers out. So you've got Nirvana, Nevermind. You've got Pearl Jam, 10. You've got the Spice Girls, Spice. You've got Backstreet Boys. I think the album was called Backstreet Boys. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. You've got Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. You've got Take That and Party. You've got blank screen. You've got, what's going on? You've got Shania Twain, Come On Over. Right, so how many of these albums did you own? Let's see what we got. So we got 6. Good score. 1, Alanis. Oh, that's poor. Nirvana and Alanis, all of them. 4, 3, 2, the 4 on the left, 3, 3. Yeah, right. So these are the albums. This is the music. 7. Bloody hell, it's good going, right? I had 4 of them. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alanis Morissette, and Guns N' Roses. Actually, that's a massive lie. I had 5 of them. Can anybody guess the 5th one, though? I had Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alanis Morissette, and Guns N' Roses. Who can actually guess what the 5th one I had was? No, it wasn't Shania. Spice, Miriam, bang, straight on. Yeah, it was Spice Girls. One of my secret loves is actually girl pop bands. All Saints all the way. Anyway, I digress. But now, next part of this question is how many of these albums could your parents name? Not one. Probably two. None. Yeah, right. None. And there's Shania and the Spice Girls. Yeah, I mean, Take That. Most people don't know who Take That are. How many have they listened to? Probably none. But you get the point, right? Is that we are not our parents, and Gen X is quite unique from the boomers, very unique and very different from the boomers. We're actually more kind of aligned to Gen Z, I think, than any of the other generational groups. So if that's the actual truth, then why do we communicate to our customers? Why do people communicate to the market as if they're communicating to boomers, right? These are the kind of messages and bands and things like that we listen to. You've got that edge. You know, we grew up during the end of apartheid, the fall of the Berlin Wall. We went into the job market in a massive recession. We had 9/11 and the war on terror. And we kind of grew up playing in the streets, but also we had email and the internet thrust on us while we were in our working careers, right? And also, let's face it, we're still pretty fucking cool. So looking at Gen X is where they're at now, that age group is health and wellness focused, financially stable most of the time, definitely tech savvy, a lot more tech savvy than people than they actually give themselves credit for, because they've had to adapt to technology, which teaches you adaptability. There's a value on experiences. And I like to think we're cynical and irreverent. Absolutely. You know, there's definitely a bit of I honestly feel there's definitely a little bit of the outlaw, a bit of the fuck you in Gen X. And we like people like us. I think we easy to kind of connect and bond around experiences, nostalgia, albums, toys, movies, you know, all these different things are important to us. So again, if you agree, I'd love to hear in the comments, you know, yeah, do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you got any other observations or anything else that you think that, you know, connects us, or have you already identified a lot of this? Love to hear from you. So I then carried on my research, and it's like, right, well, what challenges do they face? I'm a good old fashioned marketer, businessman. So right, I know my target market. I know the messages. What are the key challenges they face? So I went out and had a look, and in my head, in my man head, this is what it kind of ended up with was Gen X kind of want to grow up, be like Patsy and Adina. They've got limited time for self-care. We've got young families, aging parents, stressful jobs, lots of social pressure, and this fear of kind of hitting 50 to 60, right? And I thought that's kind of across the board. That was what I thought. Now, good thing is, one of the things I've learned in my part in history is do not do things in silos. Do not develop in a silo. You make massive, massive mistakes. So what you do is you go and you speak to the people that you are creating it for. So in my case, it was going out to the market, going out to clients and asking them what their key challenges were. And when I asked that question, my mind suddenly got completely opened up, because I was totally wrong. Is the actual challenge was menopause. And I'm sure, you know, but 98% of you out there, you know, female, and you're sitting there going, well, genius, you know, well done. I'm a bloke. You know, it's my perspective, right? So one of the big things if you take away from this, don't ever develop in silos. You get much more insight by going to your market and asking them the question. And this is what it came back as. Menopause is a fucking roller coaster. And all of a sudden it was bang, because everything that I was thinking and looking at and how we were developing it was actually all backwards. And a result of this was the key point. So my perspective was immediately changed, which was great, because now when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at it from a completely different point of view. Is when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at is thinking is 7.1 million are about to or in menopause, perimenopause. All of a sudden, the game changes, the perspective changed. So I started to think, right, okay, and I was talking to my wife Amy about this. Amy's 49, and you know, so she won't mind me sharing. She's on the call as well, but you know, going through menopause, right? And like a lot of people. So I started thinking, right, okay, I'm a fixer. How can we do this? What can we fix? We started looking at the relationship between, okay, the menopausal customers, the Gen X customers, and the aesthetics market, the market I work in. And Kelly McCready, who's also on the call, was she's like the first Avenger. She was one of my first clients, and she's still the person that I kind of create for. She always have an ideal customer in your head anytime you're creating something, because it means that you're making it for a specific person. So I looked at Kelly. Okay, so currently already working with Generation X clients, medically qualified. She's easier to get to see than the GP. She's able to provide personalized experiences. She's able to provide multiple solutions. And she's people like us. People buy from people they like, right? Gen X like people like them, more so than any other generation, I think. So you can see where I'm going with this. So I started looking at it and thinking, right, okay, what does a personalized approach look like? And this is what we kind of started to link into: hormone optimization, personalized skincare, health and fitness support. Is this how you help people navigate through the challenges of menopause? And of course, right, what I'm sitting here right now is I'm going top line on all this, because I'm not going to be the guy who sits and mansplains menopause to a Zoom call full of women. Not in a million years. I value my life more than that. So I'll let Miriam do all of this. So I went top line, and I looked at it from a strategic and commercial perspective, and thinking, right, is this could we commercialize it? Does it make sense? Does it work? And the answer to that question was yeah. And the reason it works and the reason it fits is because when you look at the market dynamics, and what I've looked at in the aesthetics market over the last few years, excuse the crude drawing, is LTV, is lifetime value. It's a price versus lifetime value. And you get a client up here right at the beginning, and of course, everyone's great, everyone's happy, having great fun. But the reality of business, the reality of life, is that value is a diminishing asset. It's a diminishing thing. People get used to having good stuff. You buy a brand new car, keep it sparklingly clean for a couple of months, maybe a year, and then 3 years later, it looks like a skip. Mine does anyway, right? Because its value has been diminished. Now, when you look at to take into account, especially those with a medical qualification, the market's being eroded. It's various different things. I'm not going to get into that, but there's lots of different challenges in the marketplace, especially around injectables. So the value proposition for injectables has actually dropped. We'll come in, if you're just doing injectables, eventually and quite quickly, that value proposition is going to drop. Your clients are going to leave. Fact. If you add skincare into it, you get a longer run, but it still doesn't hold their attention for a long period of time. The data supports this, anecdotally supports this. So I'm looking at it from a commercial point of view and thinking, right, well, how the hell do you get someone to stay with you and actually increase the value of that client over time? And that's what this lineup here is. And the answer actually is, it jumped out of me with personalized healthcare. Because if you break that 10 years down into chunks, into 2.5-year chunk. So you think, okay, keep an injectable client for that time, skincare client for that time. But if you're working through this customer, you've got them on this journey with you, and you're helping them through personalized hormone balancing, skincare, et cetera, you stand a much better chance of actually keeping them over a longer period of time and actually increasing the value of them. So I thought, right, I think I might have found something there. Ooh, it's exciting. So next generation aesthetics business. We need to empower Generation X to embrace their best lives through advanced aesthetics, personalized treatment, and holistic support. God love you, cHRT. Right. cHRT is great for that, but I have to ask myself the question, right, how the fucking hell do I do that? I haven't got a clue how to do this. So if you don't know what to do, you go and ask the best people that you can find. And I did that. And I went and spoke to, how we win with Gen X, spoke to Miriam and Elizabeth, and we talked and discussed, it's like, right, how do we bring the best solution to create a tailored menopause solution? What is it I need to do? How do we need to work it? I had the brand with Gen X, and they provided me all of the insight and the support to be able to actually kind of bring this together. So I thought, if I can introduce the best in the business with a tailored menopause solution to the most forward-thinking and innovative aesthetic practitioners in the world, and that is you guys, by the way, and me to help you properly commercialize it. And when I say properly commercialize it, I mean actually take a measured approach at it, understand exactly who your target client is, look at Gen X as a group, tweak your marketing and your messaging a little bit so you resonate much more with that particular generation, and think, okay, we should be on a winner. So the first part of all of this is actually looking at the hormone balancing. So the insight that I got from Miriam was exactly that, so that is really where we needed to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hand you over to Miriam to give you a little bit of an introduction on herself, but then also actually walk you through the training program that we've designed, where she's designed to help move it forward.
Thank you, Richard. Well, welcome you all. Probably Richard knows you all, but I don't have any idea. So nice to meet you all, and hopefully we'll see each other in the future. I am a formulations pharmacist, just to start from the beginning. So I have a master's degree in pharmacy and a master's degree in compounding. I have an international experience in compounding. I've been in research in other countries just to analyze exactly what was going on. I always be interested in knowing why things don't work. It's always like trying to fix it. I just wanted to fix it since I was a child. And the more that I was digging in, and the more that I find out that we are all different. How come we actually use the same medication for all the population and expect the same results? That's not going to be possible. So I started to dig in more and more, and I specialized in skincare, nutrition, and hormone replacement. Those are my key ones, with a little bit of hair and a little bit, but those are my key core expertise. And if you look at them, how well they are actually linked to each other. And as Richard was saying, you are in the best spot. And when they go to your clinics and complaining about skincare or the way they look or things like that, it's because they are aging. And the reason why they are aging, and you need to start thinking about targeting why that skin looks like that, and not just replenishing with your collagen injections and any other things, but changing the inside. So we came up with a really nice plan. There you go. So this is a little bit of a highlight of what the course will contain. We'll start by talking about the history of hormones and the fundamentals, why people are thinking throughout the time since the 1930s. Oh, is it really good? It's really bad. It's really good. It's really bad. And it's been like that throughout the years. And understanding what those findings are, so to know the risks and benefits that the hormones can add to your clients. We'll start thinking about, okay, now that we know how the hormones work, how do you produce them, where are they produced, metabolized, excreted. So it's important to understand the hormone itself to be able to help your patients with the treatment. We'll also go through the treatments, associated diseases that might be linked to hormones, treatment protocols, anything. We'll cover absolutely everything you need on the fundamentals to start treating your patients effectively, and not being scared of the hormones. If you think about the training the GPs are having about hormonal changes, it's zero. Sorry to say, and they are actually prescribing left, right, and center without knowing what the implications are really. And that's a little bit frustrating for someone who is being dedicated their lives to learn about hormones. So we want to offer the best quality and the best understanding about the hormones just for you guys. Sorry, I forgot to say, it's not just about the women, yeah? We are touching a little bit of men. It happens to them as well. They get cranky. And it's obvious they get cranky, and we need to fix them, because otherwise, if you have a fixed woman but not a fixed partner, it's not gonna work.
No one cares about us.
I know. No
one cares about us. So
it's happening.
Yeah, so if you've got any questions around this, I guess this is where the Q&A starts, right? It's question driven. So anything that you want to know, please put the questions in the chat, and I'll ask them, Miriam, when we come off the slideshow. But yeah, please get as many questions in as I can. Even if you think it's a daft question, guaranteed I won't know it, so it can't be that daft. So obviously, there's two parts to all of this. So the first part of it is looking around, the clinical aspect of it. And this is the first time that I've ever, since I left, Allergan, I guess, combined a clinical program with my business coaching. And there's a reason I've done that, is because I really believe in this, and I really believe in what we're doing. And I want you guys to succeed at it. And if you've followed me or done any work with me, you'll know that one of my pet hates are half-baked launches. I think the problem is that people kind of go, invest first and then think about how they're going to launch it afterwards. And actually, you should be doing it at the same time, seeding your audience, getting people ready and understanding it, understanding who your target client is. So again, understanding GenX in this scenario. What are the socioeconomic factors that are around their lives? How well do you really understand them? Because the more that you understand of your client, the goals that they have and the challenges they have, the more accurate you can be in your messaging. Then leads into social media content creation, and I'll walk you through how to do that. Some of the the videos you can create stuff on your phone. There are almost more of there's a strategic aspect to it, but there's also a tech aspect of it, and you can do so much of it off your phone, and especially now when you've got cHRT. And what I'll do is I'll teach you how to use cHRT. It'll teach you how to basically do the prompt engineering, so you can create marketing content really, really quickly that resonates massively with your audience, then put it into a campaign planner and then launch it. And the idea for me is for you to make this as cost neutral as possible, as quickly as possible. Provided you've got a reasonable sized audience, we can do that depending on how many clients you've got and what size your database is. But the idea of this is to get you off and running as quickly as possible. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I'm quite good at this as well. So cool. Miriam, you might want to come off mute as well. Okay, so I'll go through the questions, and I'll read you the clinical ones and I'll do the business ones. Right. Okay. From Gita, in this course, are any blood tests used to determine hormone levels?
Okay, so during the course, we are going to show you like the different testing they could offer. It's not just blood. You can do urine, you can do saliva, you can do all the things, the pros and cons. And depending on what you want to achieve, or if the patient is already taking HRT or not, you will go through one or the other. You're gonna do it like that to start with, and depending on the lab testing or even the test that you are using, it will take longer or shorter time. It will be like between 1 week to even 3 to 4 weeks to get those results back.
Cool. Okay. Does that answer? If that answers your question, let me know to say yes in the chat. That'd be awesome. Okay. Amy's saying that's why I've not gone to the GP to get HRT. One size fits all just does not compute. Do you want any comment on that one, Miriam?
Yeah, loads.
Go on then. Go for it.
I've lots of comment about that. All of a sudden, everybody is having exactly the same medication. They are all having utrogestan capsules to protect the lining of the uterus, and they're having estradiol patches. That's it. That's all. What are they doing? They're saturating the market. People are coming out with not the right treatment. And what are they doing with the treatment? After a week or two, that it doesn't work, they throw it into the bin. That's a waste of money. It's a contamination. It's a pollutant. And just because the doctor didn't want to pay attention to actually what was going on, what they actually needed, let alone the complications of hormone imbalances when they're trying to fix the hot flashes, and they end up going anxious and crazy in the other side because they don't have the right balance of all the hormones. You need to be able to balance them all at the same time, not just one or the other. And the fact that the progesterone is only to protect the lining of the uterus, that's not true. That's not true. I was born with this, and every month I have it, and it makes me feeling calm and relaxed. There are a lot of benefits from that. I could just keep talking, but
I was just
let's
thinking,
carry on.
get off the fence. Say what you think. Okay. Would a dentist like myself be able to attend such a course?
Sure. This course is for any person that actually can prescribe. It's like hormones are prescription medication, and you need to be able to prescribe them as long as you are a prescriber. It doesn't matter if you are a dentist, a pharmacist, a nurse. It's all fine.
Cool. Okay, great. Okay, what does BHRT stand for? Bioidentical hormone therapy.
Correct.
Winner. I know, so I've learned something. Will we teach phlebotomy skills on the course, or is this something you need to how to do already?
We don't teach that. You could take the blood, do the course and take the blood yourself and send it to the lab, or you can send them somewhere else. I know, for example, the doctors' laboratories now, they are offering that. So you just send them there with your referral, and they take the blood for you. So if that's a problem, there are other testings like non-invasive ones like urine and saliva. Cool. You don't have to learn that.
Awesome. Okay, so do need better. We answered that one. How will hormones be prescribed by Miriam based on blood results? If this is the case, what's the turnaround time?
The blood results or any other testing is to support your decision. You must have it and to make sure that you are not putting the patient at risk. Depending on what you're asking for, it will take less time or longer in the lab. I know testosterone seems to be the hormone that it takes the longest to get the result back. It could be from 1 week to 4 weeks, and it really depends. But you're not going to leave the patient just holding for such a long time. So you do like a baseline, and in a week, the patient must have something to start taking.
Cool. Okay, just there's a few other questions I'll ping through. So understand you can train as a phlebotomist. How do I say that? Phlebotomist. My mouth doesn't want to work.
Phlebotomist.
Phlebotomist.
Yes,
Thank you. Without being a medic, probably level 5.
We call them vampires, you know. No, I'm kidding.
A lot easier. Thank you. I'll just use that. That's a lot easier. It's more GenX that as well. Can you be a vampire as a medic? Yeah. Any payment plans? I'll follow up with you on that one, Em. Actually, I'm not entirely sure about that, but I will follow up with you on that one. There was a question that came through. It came through to me, so I won't mention who posted it, but it's a question about CQC registration. I know we've spoken about this a bit at length. Are they tightening up on CQC registration for practitioners providing menopause service, especially if prescribing?
Well, depending how you are offering the service. In the first place, anything, if you're doing in your clinic and it's yourself doing it, and you are already prescribing, probably you are CQC registered anyway, because they are the body that controls the quality of the prescribers. But if you could potentially, if you are not prescribing yourself, you could potentially like hire someone externally to do the activity for you. So your clinic doesn't need to be CQC registered, but the activity with that other person. So, and that is, they will have it for you. So there are 2 ways of approaching this if you don't have that.
Okay, so if someone's come on the course and they are prescriber but not CQC registered, they can work okay. I think it's just as long as they can insured to prescribe.
Yeah, exactly. They need to be. Yeah, that's different. The insurance to be a prescriber as a nurse, pharmacy, or dentist, you probably know that if you're doing that kind of service, and you are a prescriber, you need to be insured for that as well.
Yeah.
Separate.
So and just as a note to everyone listening, we've been speaking in great part of my research, speaking in great detail to the underwriters for insurance to make sure that this is all covered. And what their recommendation is, one thing we will be looking at, is that you actually provide an insurance policy, take an insurance policy outside of your existing aesthetic one. Don't try and bolt it on because it's a little bit too complicated. But as we go through this, we'll give you more information on that. What's the source of the hormones being prescribed? Or are there no hormones but a modulation effect created in the body?
we work with the hormones. We work with the bioidentical hormones. That means they are coming from a natural source, but they are synthesized in the laboratory, so they cannot be called natural. It's just the natural source. They usually come from soy or wild yam.
Okay.
If in any case you have patients that they don't want to take hormones for whatever reason, we guide in terms of the supplements, vitamins, and things that you could do to improve your own production as a modulated effect.
Cool. Okay. Some of these are really technical questions, which is absolutely awesome. But I'm also conscious of time, and kind of honestly part of what the course is about. So,
it is, yeah. It is.
I kind of like question. These are fantastic questions. I really love them. So I'm going to skim over some of the ones that I don't understand. That's probably the best qualifying characteristic for these questions. Okay. So one question said, in order to sell the product, we need to know what the product is. Can you elaborate on BHRT being used? Is this lifelong or menopause modulation? I think, is that this?
Okay, so hormones can be used only to alleviate the symptoms of the menopause, and that's where your task gets. I don't believe in that. I believe that we age because we are losing hormones. So as a result, it could be used as a preventative or as a treatment or as an anti-aging. So it's kind of a life, it's almost for the rest of your life once you start. And if after analyzing, after checking that there are no major risks, always analyze that for your patients. But if you are in the safe zone, someone could start on BHRT and start for a long time. In terms of the products that you will prescribe, could be anything. It could be a mixture of compounded hormones with off-the-shelf hormones. It doesn't need to be all compounded, and actually I don't believe in that. Compounding is only for the niche, for when it doesn't work or something is not available in the market. Like the case of, sorry to go back to the eutrogestan, but it's only one capsule, one strength. If your patient doesn't respond well to that strength, you are stuck, and that's where compounding starts. So you can tweak your strengths up and down, or you can give like women testosterone, which is a hot topic at the moment, that we also need testosterone. So those are kind of the products that you will prescribe, but it can be off the shelf or compounded.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So, what qualifications do you have, Miriam?
None. No. I have a master's degree in pharmacy. I have a lot of diplomas and courses in formulation. I also have a master's in compounding, where obviously it's all about like personalized medication. I've done courses in hormones in America and Australia, in London, and so on. So it's an endless study. As a pharmacist, and I guess any health professional, it needs to just keep studying and keep forming themselves just to offer the best service to their patients, isn't it?
Absolutely. Cool. Okay. So we've got a few questions on the technical aspects of it. So do we focus only on balancing estrogen, progesterone, estradiol, etc.? What about the other endocrinal glands? My mouth's not working at all tonight. Endocrinal glands that secrete hormones.
During the course, we will touch everything. We will touch even the importance of the gut, thyroid, and insulin and other things. It's just looking at the person as a whole, not just one part that is giving them the symptoms. Because if you're fixing just the hormones, but you're forgetting about your gut, you might be in trouble. And this is again part of the course about the detoxification of estrogens and how how you could manipulate that and do it effectively, so the patient is not at risk and is eliminating the bad hormones in the right way, let's say. So we touch everything.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so we're getting a couple of questions on client journey. There's one. Do you not need to be careful what you're prescribing is not interacting with current medications and medical history? Yes, of course you do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will always get within the course, we will give you what you're gonna need to be setting that up. So it's the consent forms, symptoms like tick lists, things actually to help you to manage that. And one of them is like getting that family history, medication, supplements, vitamins, everything that a person is taking is rather important and detrimental for you to know everything.
Awesome. Are the blood results parameters different to NHS?
Yeah. Well, NHS is only checking for two things. Three. It's checking FSH, estradiol, and progesterone. And sometimes not even progesterone, and that's all.
Cool.
We check everything.
Cool. We'll start flying through these a little bit. So,
yep.
Once we get to do you feel like you're under? We should be putting. I should put like a spotlight in front of your face, just like shine, just like grill Miriam. Once no one's got any questions for me, which is awesome. Once we get to the patient results, but to be fair, these are actually the relevant questions from the business and commercial side of things. Is quite simple for them. Once we get the patient's test results, do we send the results to you and then you prescribe, or do you have a range and we need to select the products from your range based on the results?
Okay, so during the course, we are gonna give you like a guidance on where to start and how to manage that. We also offer in the package, I don't know if you've seen, but we'll help you with 10 patients, the first 10 patients for the 600. So during the first 3 months after the course, those 10 patients, I will be there to suggest what to prescribe based on all the test results and symptoms and everything. So you are not alone.
Yeah, awesome. Source of the hormones, animal stem cells?
No. The ones that we have is the wild yam.
Wild yam. And assuming lab certified, checked.
Absolutely. We have a really rigorous process of validation of suppliers and raw ingredients. So and we can provide that to any of you if
actually, I just think it's probably just worth actually just talking a little bit about Rose, about the lab, because this is a laboratory, and be interesting to talk, maybe just give us a little bit of insight about the structure and a bit more about the business. Okay,
so again, we are a community pharmacy, but at the same time we have a laboratory. Well, we have two now, and this is where we manufacture all the treatments for patients. We are regulated by the General Pharmaceutical Council, but we follow the GMP standards and regulations. Because the problem that we are facing at the moment, probably by my accent, but I'm Spanish. And the problem in the UK is the lack of awareness about compounding. And there is a gap in the regulation. So I tend to follow the FDA's, the Spanish one, and the GMP manufacturing in here. So we have a really rigorous process for selecting suppliers, for selecting ingredients, and we also have an electronic prescription system. But that prescription system, it also acts as a compounding software, stock management, so everything gets recorded in that system. So that's one of the most important things in quality is having a quality system in place and quality assurance. So what we have is the full traceability of everything, that if there is a mistake or if there is an error, because we all know it was 3 years ago, for example, like Pfizer, I always refer that, but Pfizer had to take the Champix out of the market because it contains ingredients that can give you cancer. So even this is Pfizer. So big manufacturing companies, they make mistakes, but the important thing is how they act after that. So so having that full traceability of everything is really important. Our raw ingredients, they are completely pure. They're 100% pure. They're not mixed with anything else. So there is no like those plant-based creams that you can see in internet that you don't even know the milligrams or strengths of the hormones that is quite dangerous. I'm quite scared about that. You don't have even qualifications, or you don't know even who is manufacturing that or anything. So all our products are being made in a facility with I don't know if you're familiar with this, but laminar flow cabinets to protect the product, so there is no cross contamination. Actually, it's a really long subject. I think this is completely outside of the box. Don't quote me on that, but maybe it would be a good idea even to give you a tour of the lab one day if we arrange it, and I can show you in person, because it's better when you see it and you can actually feel it and talk to people and see how we work, so you can trust. And yeah, we are really transparent company, so I will be happy to arrange that.
No, that's awesome. It's a great idea. Actually, thinking what I could do is I'll do a live from your lab.
Are you? Brilliant.
Yeah. So I will show the lab to the world.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to speed up on these a little bit. So if there any, so compounding and dispensing ISO certified, yeah, I mean, I think we need to say, assume from what Miriam said, they're working to the highest possible standards. So any questions like that, yeah, just ping them through to me. I'm easy to get hold of. Instagram, Facebook, email me, and I'll pass them on to Miriam. But we're going to skip through these. So think about cost price ratios and things like that. What's the what would you say the price point is for a client journey? So looking at a client journey, what would you say the price point would be?
The price of the medication is not as much as you might think, and depending what the patient needs. But I will say like it's between £1 to £3 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of affordable for what the medication is. I will say like you need to add that into your service, because you're going to spend quite a lot it's your service which is really valuable, and your diagnosis and the treatments and things that you offer. So the medication is not going to be as important. It's for you to put the price. And at the moment there is quite a big variety of what a prescriber is offering, but it's between, don't quote me completely, between 200 to £500 an hour of your time. So this is when it's a hormone expert and you sit up, because the first consultation is going to take you like about an hour. Think about that.
Okay. Awesome.
But you need to go through the results, but yeah, medication not as bad.
Cool. So I think there's a couple here I can pick up with as well, actually. So let me just remove the spotlight. There we go. You're off. You're out of the hot. You're off the hot seat now.
Good.
And I will jump back in. Okay, so there's a couple of questions around sort of the commercial aspects of all of this. So what you think about is lifetime value is what you need to be thinking about in this. This isn't something, I'm never going to be the guy to bring something to the table which is just like, right, quick win, here's loads of cash, and then leave again. That's just not how I'm wired. It's not how I work. So if that's what the expectation is, this ain't for you. Where I see this fitting in is this is creating a much deeper and enhanced client journey for you that brings them over that 10 years. So you can still do the toxin, you can still do the fillers, you can still do the skincare, but underneath all of that, you've got this maintenance point, this touch point with this customer. The largest drop in revenue that I see in most of the businesses is through lack of follow-up. And if you think about it from the injectable processes, it's like, here's a client, do the treatment, 2-week follow-up, give you call again in 3 months. And some of you will listen to that and think, oh, that sounds absurd. A lot of people are still doing that. And it leaves a massive gap in the communication between you and your customer. So to fill these sorts of things, we've got to add that in. The more touch points you've got, the more understanding of your client you've got, the more that they will spend with you. And that's just simple economics and simple business. And what this does is it provides an absolute nailed-on reason for you to be sticky. So it also commercializes your medical qualifications, which I know is a challenge right now, especially around injectables. It gives you a reason to promote, I am a medic, I am this, I am that. Also gives you an opportunity to connect with other providers in your area to provide a bit, a much more comprehensive service. So this is something that's opening up opportunities and channels for you. And that's where the mass revenue will come from. Longer term client journey, longer time customers, happier customers, because you're solving the biggest problem that they have, which is what my research told me. Big problem they've got is this. All everything else is result from that. And that's the opportunity that you've got, but we've got to start somewhere. And for me, this is starting with the biggest problem, which is balancing the hormones. If you agree, that's great. Disagree, let me know. But that's ultimately the step we're going to going down. How easy is it to advertise this service with it being a POM? That is a brilliant question. And I think the simple answer to that is a hell of a lot easier than toxin, because you're talking about menopause. So it's a much broader conversation. And I guess there are so many different elements into it. The balancing is one aspect of it. As long as you're not talking about the specifics and like that, I think you'll be okay. But I'm not seeing any major challenges. Miriam, you got anything to say on that one?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, as long as you don't promote the actual medication, you're gonna need to promote the service.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's mentioning the POMS, the prescription only medication. So that if you don't, you are not allowed to advertise that.
Yeah.
You are allowed to advertise your approach to it.
Absolutely. Okay, there's a couple of regulatory questions I'd like to just cover off, and then that will be it for the questions. We'll be able to pick everything else up and follow up. One is about bringing products into the UK. Do they need to be approved by the MHRA, or is there a way around? Why is wrong with my mouth? You get what I'm saying, right? Is there a way around?
Yes, got it. Yeah, we are not bringing anything. We are actually producing the products in the UK. So we don't need to bring anything. We are not regulated by the MHRA. We are regulated by the General Pharmaceutical Council, which is legally like professional body, and we are regulated and we are allowed to do this, and it's all UK based. So nothing to worry about that.
Cool. So yeah, and also from a process point of view, the support package is there for 10 patients, and after that, what sort of support will they get?
I'm a pharmacist. I'm always on the line.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not gonna be for, obviously, if it comes like someone constantly sending me the patients. Maybe in that case we need to put another package. We haven't thought about a long time, but sincerely, after 10 patients, you are good to go.
You should be okay.
You're not gonna have that many questions. You might have one or two when the complicated cases, but that's all.
Awesome. And okay, last question would be, what about patient examination, blood pressure, weight, height?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all done. Follow up after. Yeah, okay, perfect. Will this recording be available on replay? It will, if you're on it. So obviously I'm not doing anything tonight, but what you do tomorrow, you'll get an email from me, give you a link to this. I'll get some notes as well from it as well. And then I'll obviously follow up with you all to look at, if you want to join us in November or in a date earlier in the new year. Happy? Good. Miriam, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Richard.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure being on with you. Like I said, thank you very much for joining. I hope you found that useful. I absolutely did. Like I said, we're trying something pretty novel, pretty innovative. First time AE's done this with anybody. I'm really, really excited about it. Like I said, we're doing 15, 16 per cohort. So let me know soon if that's something you're interested in, but I'll follow up with you anyway. All right, guys, take it easy. Catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye, guys.